Act 2 of Adelgitha, or The Fruits of a Single Error by Matthew Lewis. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information, or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Act 2 Scene 1. Gothic Chamber. A sofa on right. Enter Emma.
He's safe. He's well. Oh, happy, happy Emma. He's safe. He's well. Flow, dews of rapture, flow. Yet, is it real? Is it not a dream, a charm, a fairy fiction? Oh, heaven, I fear it. Still then breathe my lips to hush my doubts those words, those heavenly words. He's safe. He's well. Hark! Hark! I hear his footsteps.
Lothair, without.
Emma!
I hear his voice.
Enter Lothair. Lothair, throwing himself at her feet.
My princess!
My Lothair!
A moment's pause.
Art safe? Quite safe, Lothair?
Weeping.
Eloquent tears! What words could speak your meaning? Safe, sweet, safe, and Emma's still, and ever, ever Emma's.
Rises.
You ask not of Durazzo's fight?
I see thee, and having thee have all. Yet say, brave Guiscard
Is safe, my love, is conqueror of Durazzo, and ere the sun ascends his midday chariot, the hero's keel will bite on Otranto's shore.
Blessed be those words for Adelgitha's sake.
Even now I left her. Hadst thou seen her rapture, such tears, such sobs, while ever and anon she thanked heaven's grace, too bounteous to its handmaid, then bade her damsels bring her nuptial robes, throw wide her castle gates to mirth and feasting, and still exclaimed, Rejoice, rejoice, Apulia, your hero lives, has conquered, and returns.
Sure, none e'er felt more love.
Sure, none e'er gave it to one more worthy. Oh, that great proud day, when, scarred by Grecian fire and hostile myriads, our troops resolved to raise Durazzo's siege, and thronged to gain their vessels. Swift as lightning flew Guiscard to the crowded port, and, dashing the foremost rebel back, Turn, turn, he cried, shame to the vanquished, to the victor's glory, no flight, no refuge, no resource but triumph. Normans, you conquer here, or die, he said. Then hurled a firebrand midst the fleet, and swiftly spread the devouring flames from ship to ship. Each trembled, each turned pale, till each and all, fired by the hero's fire, with one accord, brandished their swords, struck their broad shields, and shouted, Right, Guiscard, right! We'll conquer here, or die!
'Twas bravely dared, but to my ears, Lothair, the tale of war still bears a painful sound. I see in captured towns but mangled corses, I hear in victory's shouts but dying groans, and think one flower from pity's wreath more precious than laurel groves watered with tears of blood. Your prince is great, is good, I own his virtues, but still those virtues wear so stern an aspect.
Stern to the wicked, lenient to the weak.
Ah, friend, thy partial eyes.
No, princess, no. Judge by this fact. That day we forced Durazzo, while war still raged, the streets all ran with blood, and blazing towers crushed in their fall alike the victors and the vanquished. Mid the tumult, a fierce Varangian from his mother's arms had torn a newborn babe. Wild shrieked the matron to heaven for aid.
Alas!
Nor shrieked in vain, for Guiscard heard her. To the tower he flew, and, while his left hand caught the child, his right seized by his yellow locks the wild barbarian, and hurled him from the walls. Next, with his scarf, did Guiscard bind the babe's slight wounded throat, and gently on its mother's breast replaced it. Wildly she caught it, sank upon her knee, traced in its blood a cross upon its brow, and called it Guiscard. Then his great heart melted, his stout frame trembled, and I saw tears forcing through his closed helm their way. By heaven, I never thought strength so glorious as I thought his weakness, or man worth envying, till I saw those tears.
Oh, lovely act! Hear it, ye saints, and shower celestial blessings on that hero's head.
Michael, without.
Where stays the knight?
Hark, 'tis my father's voice. Dear friend, be wary.
Fear not.
Enter Michael Ducas.
Ha, Lothair, your mission, warrior.
The mighty lord, from Guiscard I bring glad news. Byzantium's free, the usurper fled none knows whither, and the flag of Ducas flows from Durazio's towers. My prince more fully details in these his victory.
Presenting letters.
How, proud youth? Methinks Byzantium's lord might claim thy knee.
Lothair, calm and firm.
Your pardon, Emperor. 'Tis not pride restrains me, but knightly honour. Ne'er may Normans kneel save to their own liege lord, nor e'er from me shall foreign king receive that suppliant homage sacred to heaven, my mistress and my prince.
Ha! Darest thou, haughty stripling?
Oh, best father, unbend that frowning brow. He meant no insult, and though his knee withholds its show of duty, Lothair would die to serve you. Sooth he would.
Michael, sternly.
Emma, retire.
Alas, have I offended? Nay, pray you frown not, father. I obey.
Exit. Lothair, aside while the Emperor opens his letters.
In grief she goes.
Looking out.
Gods, of what marble must that man be framed, who feels not on his heart, like molten lead, each tear his brutal harshness costs a woman? How's this?
Michael, furious.
Thou strumpet, Fortune, wilt thou ne'er blush to follow Guiscard's car, chained like a slave? Still wilt thou shower thy laurels on him, and none but him? He won the battle, he seized the town, he gives me back my kingdom. Ere I accept his gift, may the earth open and swallow up that kingdom. May Byzantium, the day he crowns me, fall on him and me, and one vast ruin crush us.
Lothair, aside.
What can mean this strange and sudden passion?
Hear me, youth. Darest thou be great, be happy? Darest thou merit my daughter's hand?
Great prince!
I know thou lovest her. Darest thou deserve her? Say.
Can man deserve so bright a gem? Oh, if he can, say how. Thou canst not say what I'd not dare for Emma. Through Arab hosts command me hew my passage, and plant the cross e'en on their prophet's tomb. Drop where Charybdis foams your crown, and bid me retrieve it from the whirlpool's ravenous jaws. Name aught that's strange and dire, some wondrous deed, so hard it joins in one the Herculean labours, so dread its mention makes the hearer faint. Nor doubt, for Emma's sake, that deed I'll do, or perish in the attempt.
Indeed, I'll try thee. I have a foe.
He from this hour is mine.
He must not live.
He must not, or Lothair. Declare your wrongs, his name, and straight I'll seek him, and hurl defiance in his face.
Rash stripling, thou know'st not what thou sayest. So great is power, his rank so lofty, never may thine arm be raised against his in combat.
What then wouldst thou? What mean'st thou I should do?
Surprise him sleeping, plant in his heart thy sword, and Emma's thine.
Lothair, starting in horror.
Sleeping?
Straight thy crimson hand shall clasp my daughter's in Byzantium's sceptre. Speak but the words, he is dead. Let me but see thy limbs dyed ghastly beauties in the blood of that loathed basilisk.
Hold, name him not. What I have heard thee say would now compel me to espouse his cause. Farewell.
Crosses left.
Stay, youth. Reflect, A crown invites thee, a crown and immer. Be wise, be wise.
Wise, sayest thou? Prince, I will be, since he shows wisdom most who loves virtue. That narrow cunning, whose short sight ne'er looks beyond this orb and present bliss, perhaps might count these offers tempting. But true wisdom, whose prescient eye, overleaping time and space, descries new worlds, pure joys, and life eternal? This makes me feel man's heaven or hell is conscience. This makes me feel that, robbed of truth and honor, life's charms are lost. And that, if guilt's the price, even Emma's heart would be too dearly purchased.
Think what thou wert, a nameless, base-born orphan. Think what thou art now, a wandering knight whose sword must carve his fortune, or he fasts for it. Gods, and must thou prate of guilt and bliss and conscience? Must thou be delicate, thou fondling thou? 'Tis ludicrous. Away!
I hear, and pity the man whose pride it soothes to wound a worm. Heaven pardon you, as I do. To the point, proudly you ask me what I was? I answer, born to be that which thou wert born to be, a man. Again you ask me what I'm now? I answer, that which all admire, a soldier. Nor can I think it blasts a soldier's courage to own he dares not do an act of shame.
Vile thing! Such notions leave the stock from which you sprang no longer doubtful. Base were your parents, with your feelings base.
'Twould sooner strike a generous mind, methinks, not what my parents were, but what I am. You boast a race by ancestors ennobled. I boast a name ennobled by myself. Pure from all flaws, and sacred from corruption, read honor's patent written in this scar, received while fighting by my sovereign's side, who dates this line from Egypt's earliest kings, may boast more ancient titles, none more glorious. Nor can a monarch's veins hold nobler blood than flowed from mine in the service of my country.
Hence, slave, nor tease me with this cant. I hate thee.
If for such thoughts you hate me, prince, I know not if most you merit pity or contempt.
Horn sounds.
But hark! The warder from the beacon tower speaks Guiscard's fleet in sight. I go to join him. Yet, ere I leave thee, learn this truth from me. To love is happiness, to hate is woe. And while such actions as deserve to win thy heart's affections make it swell with venom, thou canst not find worse foes than thine own passions, nor torture others as spite tortures thee.
Exit left.
Braved by this froward boy, shame and confusion. Yet 'twas ill-judged to urge. Now, Dercetus.
Enter Dercetus, right.
That portrait, quick.
'Tis here.
Giving it.
By heavens, the same. 'Tis well. Retire.
Exit Dercetus, right.
Now escape me if thou canst, imperious dame. This proof secures thee mine. Yes, since I hold her secret, she'll be silent. For interest's chains, though fine, are formed so binding, their strength can fetter e'en a woman's tongue.
Exit right. Scene 2. The port of Otranto. An extensive view over the Adriatic Gulf. Citizens and peasants of both sexes are grouped in attitudes of expectation. Shouts as scene opens.
Smile, Apulia, smile once more. All thy grief and fears are o'er. Guiscard's galley seeks thy shore. Smile, Apulia, smile once more.
The fleet traverses the background.
Valor now his strength reposes. War at length has smoothed his frown. Duteous love with freshest roses wreathes the victor's laurel crown.
The bugle sounds.
Grateful prayers to heaven ascend. Shouts of joy the welkin rend. One in Guiscard's name we blend. Hero, patriot, sovereign, friend.
Enter Lothair, left. As the chorus ends, a galley arrives from left. Guiscard stands on the deck, attended by Tancred, Rainulf, and knights. All land. Adelgitha enters, richly dressed, with ladies and attendants, right.
Guiscard!
My Adelgitha!
Welcome, conqueror! Welcome to this fond heart! O heaven, how bravely the warrior looks, from foreign wars returned, when propped upon his sword with blood encrusted, he tells his country, "Rest, loved parent, rest! Thy son has toiled, and thou mayst sleep securely." Oh, my prince, my hero!
Nor at Bari's siege looked she less glorious, who descried the javelin aimed at her husband's breast, and rushing forwards received it in her own, then
Silence, silence!
Then tearing from her wound the dart, she kissed it, fainted, yet fainting smiled, and smiling cried, "Happy she dies who dies to save her husband."
Blessed am I that I did so. Oh, that moment was worth my whole past life. Nor would I barter the scar that wound has left for all the gems which ocean's waves have buried.
Noble creature, how have I deserved so rich a treasure?
Embracing her. Enter Michael Ducas and 4 guards, left. Michael, aside.
Ay, seize the present hour. Ere long I'll dash your cup of joy with bitter. Hail, Apulia, I come to thank thee. But so vast thy claims, no words can pay my debt. Favours less great, I own, would please me better, and my soul shrinks to count my obligations.
The man who boasts a generous heart ne'er grudges that bliss to others which himself esteems purest and best, the bliss of doing good. Think thus, Byzantium, nor is't much I give thee, 'tis but thine own, no more. Durazzo's thine, and soon the Grecian crown.
O generous spirit, which gives a crown as 'twere an orange! Shame its fire should only warm Apulia's rocks. Unsheathe thy sword, drag from his diamond throne Arabia's lord, and make his neck thy footstool. Thou needst but will it, and 'tis done.
No, Emperor, I've nor the power nor will. Be mine to rule not kingdoms widely stretched, but justly governed. Few be my subjects, so those few be happy. And if their hearts be mine, I've realms enough. Here break we off.
To Adelgitha, who, during these speeches, seems to welcome the knights.
Best love, I marvel much. You ask not of that danger.
Adelgitha, alarmed.
How? What danger?
Thou hast not heard, then?
Nothing.
Mark, then. Mark and admire. Hot was the fight. Death ranged insatiate o'er the field, and his white courser dyed its mane red in blood. Darts hid the sun, and one transfixed my steed. He fell.
Oh, heavens!
Fell, and the usurper marked his fall. He reached me. I saw his falchion gleam. 'Twas raised one moment, and all was lost, when lo, a youth!
A youth!
Sprang from his horse, bestrode me. Fierce as guards her young, the tigress, dealt he blows around. Now here, now there, on this side and on that, till his true sword cut through the usurper's casque, who on his courser's neck sank senseless.
Gods!
Then fled the Greeks full fast. The stripling raised me, gave me his steed, regained Durazzo, scaled its walls, unbarred the ponderous gates, and bade the imperial flag stream from its towers, loud shouting, "Reign long, reign, Michael Ducas!"
O blessed youth! O gallant bearing! Tell me, my dear lord, what happy mother boasts so brave a son? How may I thank him best? O name him, name him!
Guiscard, smiling.
That youth, behold him in Lothair.
Was he? O heart, was he indeed?
He, none but he, whom Adelgitha placed about my person, and whom she now must thank for Guiscard's life. Advance, brave youth.
Adelgitha, while Lothair kneels to her.
I fostered, reared, and loved thee. If thou hast cost me care, or owest me duty, thou hast discharged thy debt.
She takes a chain with a cross from her neck and throws it round Lothaire's.
Still wear this jewel, and while 'tis yours, remember, when I gave it, I blessed the hour that you received existence, since you have lived to rescue Guiscard's life.
Michael, aside.
Now should she weep. Right. What exhaustless rivers must female eyes contain?
I fain would thank thee, but my full heart...
Rising.
O honoured happy Guiscard, I'll call from heaven no blessings on thy head. Thou hast them all, possessing Adelgitha. He, on whom heaven bestows a wife like her, whate'er his merits, must be still o'erpaid.
This praise so fervent.
Can I praise her coldly, when that I live, and that I merit life, are both her gifts? Left at his father's gate, a speechless orphan.
Adelgitha to Lothair.
Cease, nor blame that virtue so nice. To hear even praise too warm offends it.
Ironically, to Michael.
Oh, sir, 'twere excellent did all, like you, inculcate morals which, like you, they practised.
Such praise outstrips my merit.
Aside.
By yon son I'll be revenged, insulter.
Enter Julian, right. Julian, to Guiscard, who has been talking with Tancred, etc.
Prince, the council...
I come. Lothar, attend me. For a while, farewell, best love. Warriors, farewell, and trust me. The memory of your faith shall live unfading in Guiscard's grateful heart. Well have ye served me, and while Apulia boasts such sons, her genius, though hostile myriads storm her sea-beat coasts, shall hear them threaten with a smile of scorn, then with her trident plunge them in the billows. Those swords which struck so hard in foreign lands shall strike with tenfold strength to guard their own. And here I swear, while Guiscard rules Apulia, still shall each soldier say, who draws his sword, my country's free, my sovereign's kind and grateful, his cause is just, and yonder's one loves justice.
Exit with Lothair and knights, peasants, etc. Adelgitha, going.
My gallant Guiscard!
Lady, stay and deign some moment's audience, but alone.
Adelgitha, to her attendants, who go off right.
Withdraw.
To Michael, coldly.
Speak, and be brief.
Michael, hypocritically.
O princely dame, unbend that gloomy brow. Thou seest thy virtue's convert. Grateful you've spared him that remorse which tortures those who pollute the shrine of female honour. I've witnessed that remorse, that dying night.
What night?
Some years are past since at the chase in Astra's wood I lost my way. Dositus alone pursued my steps. Night's shades were rising, when lo, a groan. We hastened to the place. A knight lay stabbed by robbers. Come, he cried, strangers approach, and while I've breath to tell it, hear the confession of a guilty man, and vouch for his remorse. Then he told a tale so sad, a maid of noble birth by solemn vows seduced, abandoned, left to shame and anguish, heavy at that hour sat on his soul her wrongs. He charged us find her, restore her letters, paint his grief, and bid her pray for the sinful soul of George of Clermont. The tale affects you, princess.
Adelgitha, endeavouring to hide her emotion.
Well, it may. I cannot choose but pity that sad lady.
What? Pity her, whose guilty heart has revelled in wanton love and pleasure's wild excess. Perhaps her slips of youth forgot, on others those fetters now she binds, she broke herself. Perhaps she rules some fond believing husband, who thinks her now a saint. But when he knows her, he'll throw her from his bosom like a scorpion, and I'll unmask.
The warrior named her not.
Name her? 'Twas needless. For the damsel's letters, so fond, so sad, so full of passion, speaking in every line her love and shame so plainly. This picture, too, though 17 years since then have winged their flight, this swan-like neck must still be arched and fair, still must these lips of coral swell ripe and full, nor can these eyes have lost all their dark brilliance. Please you look, fair princess, nay, look, I pray.
Forcing her to look at the picture, she casts a hasty glance on it and starts away in terror. He proceeds in a tone of ironical softness.
It seems you know these features.
In a terrible voice, while he grasps her by her arm.
Now, scorn me if thou darest.
Exit left. Adelgitha, after a pause, during which she seems petrified with horror, looks round her with a confused air, then strikes her forehead and exclaims like one in despair.
I'm lost! I'm lost!
End of Act 2.